right. Thank you, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anders Rydholm. The name of my company is PrimeTime Web. Today, I'm going to talk about um, e-commerce and why consumer behavior has shifted towards buying and shopping online. Um, PrimeTime Web is a web design, marketing, and advertising company. Our mission is to help the Mankato community and help it by helping local small business owners. Our core values are time preservation, artistic expression, community spirit. We've helped the Mankato community by partnering with local small business owners, including, recently we've worked with Melissa Ketchum, Ocho, True Facade Pictures, who just had a music video published on, Rolling Stone magazine. So, go to their page and check out some of their work, and that story is really interesting. Um, we specialize in e-commerce web development. A question that we get a lot is why e-commerce? What is e-commerce and why should I care about it? E-commerce essentially means the ability to conduct business transactions online. And when most people think about e-commerce, they're thinking about Amazon.com. That's where they're familiar with doing their shopping. But e-commerce is happening not just on websites, but on desktop and mobile platforms. It's happening on text and email. It's happening on social media. Shopify has just partnered with Facebook for Facebook Shops, which is going to be big. It's going to allow all Facebook business pages to become digital storefronts. So look into that. And also, it's happening through voice search, which is going to be an upcoming big thing. People are saying, Alexa, please buy me a cup of coffee and it'll be ready for you at your destination. Or Alexa, I want to order something, it'll be at your house in 24 hours. So it's extremely fast, it's extremely safe, and it's extremely convenient. That's the big thing. Purchasing behavior, we talked about a lot of stores are closed right now due to COVID-19, has caused a lot of disruption in supply chains and so forth. And, it's changed a lot. We need to reduce the movements due to COVID-19. So no getting in your car to go out of the house to do your shopping. That's led in this environment out of, the desire for that convenience and the necessity really that people are craving online experiences, and they're starting to demand online experiences from businesses. So, I think e-commerce, because of COVID-19, has really accelerated. I would estimate that e-commerce is accelerated by 10 years because it would have normally, what we would have seen would be a gradual shift, would be has happened really suddenly, and it's been a shock to a lot of legacy brands and companies that have always traditionally done business through retail, and like Heinz ketchup, for an example, has sold ketchup in grocery stores and retail locations for 150 years. And in March, they went online direct to consumer in 7 days with Heinz to Home. So it's not too late to move online. You can do it quickly, and now is the time to do it. My concern is for companies that don't think it's real and don't think that they need to offer a digital product online after COVID ends and we go back and the economy opens up. If you haven't done it yet, you probably won't do it for a long time. So that's kind of my advice to companies right now is now is kind of a wake-up call to be thinking about moving your products to offering what your customers are looking for as far as an online shopping experience. Some brick and mortar stores are struggling. They're kind of in a delicate situation and vulnerable because they're connected to the world of global commerce through Main Street. And what we're going to see is a revitalization of Main Street online, and e-commerce stores are going to be kind of light and fast compared to brick and mortar stores that are slower and heavier by comparison. So we'll see e-commerce continuing to grow in a positive direction. So that's a little bit about e-commerce and why that's our specialty and why we're making an investment in that. Next, we can talk a little bit about the company PrimeTime Web. I'm personally a bootstrap sole proprietor. That means I own 100% of the company. I haven't borrowed any money for the business, and I do everything myself. I'm operating on a lean budget. I can farm out talent on big projects and outsource that, but this gets into the way that I help local small businesses in the Mankato community. One of the core values of the company is to preserve time. So the most valuable asset I feel like everyone has is their time. I'm completely obsessed with how people use their time and their relationship with their time. I think there are a lot of ways that we can be more efficient and more economic with our time management. I'm personally always looking for ways to use it more efficiently and effectively. So before we segue into the Q&A here at the end of this presentation, I just want to present that question to the audience. First is, how as a small business, we do digital marketing services, we do e-commerce web development. We have a lot of skills, but our time is scarce and in demand. So, what is the best way that I can leverage the resources of my business to provide the most value to the Mankato community? Who can I work with? Who are partnerships? We're very selective about, working and partnering with companies that align with our core values. How can I best leverage my resources to provide the most value to the community in a way that preserves my time and dignity? And that's the key thing. The other question is, since COVID-19, what changes in your consumption behavior have you seen? What products have you bought online that you had never bought online before? I'm kind of interested in, and will you go back to buying those products in person when the economy opens up a little bit? But yeah, just before we get into the Q&A here, I wanted to say thank you to 1 Million Cups Mankato and all the sponsors, the Small Business Development Center, thank you, and the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And we will be juicing the prize pool today with a few of these Google partner mugs. To the winner of the coffee mug, we'll get 6 of these. And with that, I think we can open it up into Q&A. I just want to say, there was one saying, there are about 300 great malls in this country. The problem is we have about 3,000 malls, so it's something to think about. And I'm curious about that question of how people's, not just online shopping behavior has changed, but what media they're watching. We look at news, and I pretty much see a lot of bad news. So, personally for me, I'm not as big into Netflix, but I've been watching a lot of feel-good things. I've been watching, Hallmark and Disney Plus, moving into that, and paying a lot of attention to how businesses that are struggling, especially like restaurants, live entertainment, things like that, that don't just have a product that they can just sell and ship to their customers, how are they providing those online experiences? So yeah, again, I just want to thank everybody who showed up today to learn a little bit more about PrimeTime Web. And if you have anything else you'd like to see, you can follow us on our social media channels and learn more on our website. So thank you.
Thank you, Anders. If people have questions or responses to any of his questions, you can feel free to drop a note in chat. I don't need to put your entire question. I can call on you to ask it out loud, so you can just note that you have a question. Mike, I think I'll need your help if someone uses the raise hand functionality, as I won't be seeing if hands are raised.
Sure, we do have a question from Gary Schott.
I was applauding there. That was a reaction there where that's that applause. So, and Anders, thanks for sharing that. And It's also kind of nice, and I think Michael will do this to not necessarily be PowerPoint driven. So thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
And Bobby has a raised hand, Brian.
Okay, Bobby.
Yes, I realize that you're doing a lot of music with the True Facade and Ocho, and when back in the early 70s, I had a company called Media House in North Mankato at the old Eckes building with a recording studio, and this was probably a little bit before the internet, but we did a lot of music, the early John Denver stuff and Michael Johnson, a lot of the City Mouse and Judd and all of that came out of Mankato. And what I'm leaning into here is that after 3 or 4 years of that music, after everybody got their 8x10 glossies and their album covers and everything, and their posters, we ran into a very lean time, and we started reaching out just like you did from the music into publishing. Mankato has a lot of publishing companies surrounding it, and we had a very, very successful continuing relationship with publishing companies, helping them with music in publishing. So if you can combine the two, all I'm saying is that this online experience is very much needed right now in both music and publishing.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Drinkler. I think, you know, you're absolutely right that the times are lean, and that's the live entertainment industry in general, even before COVID-19 was, especially in music, you know, you're looking at Spotify and YouTube, you know, where people can get all of their entertainment for free. So selling albums and things like that, you know, has been suffering for a while. So you're looking for other ways to monetize in a lot of cases. You know, in most cases, everything is really directed to bring people to the live concert. You look at somebody like comedian Chris Rock, you know, everything he does is really designed to get those $100 ticket sales, right? And then, you know, now with COVID-19, it's really kind of impossible to be doing live entertainment. So I think for them, it's kind of a waiting game, but we're trying to bring a lot of traffic to the websites where you can stream the music and listen to the blogs for free. But yeah, I think that's, you know, it's really interesting. You know, it's one of our core values. We're aligning with arts and entertainment, Twin Rivers, you know, Center Council for the Arts, and trying to do, you know, support those businesses through this time.
Oh, very good. Yes. Well, all the luck to you, but
Thank
I
you,
think
sir.
that you bet.
Appreciate it.
It looks like Melissa had a comment. Melissa, did you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. So my comment was basically in response to Andrew's question, what was the biggest consumer shift in your purchasing and consumption behavior? And I would have to say, I think many might be able to relate to this, but I've been engaging in experiences such as like workshops, retreats, and seminars online, which is something I don't think I really engaged in prior to COVID, but it's been great in maintaining connection and also fostering that personal and professional development aspect as well. So that's kind of one shift that I've seen in my consumption behavior. So thank you, Anders. Thank you for supporting our community, and awesome presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. For those who don't know, Melissa, a former member of the board for the Twin Rivers Council of the Arts, and organized Starving Artists Under the Bridge. We're working together on a couple of web projects right now. Huxley and Murr Event Company, and Gilded Heart Coaching. So taking, face-to-face meetings online, people are doing it on Zoom, even the 50 to 90-year-old demo, parents and grandparents are getting comfortable, I think, with all the digital things and moving things online. So it's a heavy lift, and we were doing it really suddenly, but I think we're doing a good job at being on the ball on it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
And it looks like Kate Hansen had a comment in chat as well.
Okay, first I'm going to apologize because I have a gaggle of 13-year-olds right outside my window yelling and playing wiffle ball. But I just wanted to say that regarding online purchasing behavior, I'm a super busy mom, and when life is normal, I'm driving my kids all over the place. So I can't say that online purchasing behavior has changed a whole lot, because I did a lot of online shopping before, just because it would get delivered to my house and it's way faster. But I was thinking it through, and I think one thing that changed is my kids did all of their clothes shopping online this year, where usually I take them so they can try things on. I don't have to worry about returning things, all of that stuff. But this year I said, nope, we're going to do it all online. And then I just did returns because they did a lot of Scheels and that kind of stuff online. Normally we would have gone to Scheels. So that's one thing that changed.
It looks like Mike Hahn has a question or a comment.
Yes. Hey, Anders, just questions and comments. One thing that I'm noticing as far as during this pandemic is that the entrepreneurial spirit continues. We are seeing businesses that, especially restaurants, that are looking at, at readapting, I guess we call it, as far as more emphasis on carryouts, working with carryout providers, more emphasis on deliveries, less emphasis on seating inside, things like that. Also, we're seeing a lot more, at least what I'm seeing, is health offices, clinics, things like that are kind of migrating to brick and mortar, more to basically online presence, telemedicine. And one thing that we've been told, as far as from the SBA, is to help businesses to be more resilient, to kind of make them going from bricks to clicks. What do you see as the outcome? I mean, I kind of look at the outcome of this pandemic that I think it will accelerate our economy. I think things that we thought that were going to happen in 2028, 2030 are now going to happen in 2022, 2024. And just like to get your input on that. And what do you see will be the long-term thing? I mean, for my own personal behavior, my wife and I used to go out to movies. We don't do that anymore. It's kind of yeah, we watch Netflix and things like that, but it's just not the same. I guess we're products of the 80s, my wife and I, so we still have shop, and we're seeing less and less selection as far as clothing and just going to places which we can shop to, because there's just not as many stores as they used to be. So are we eventually going to have a e-commerce totally online? Those are just my questions and comments, and I'll let you kind of go from there, Anders.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I think when the economy opens back up, the first things that will return will be the live entertainment, the very hands-on kind of things that don't really translate well online. I do see this being a wake-up call and, a kind of a shock to take action, because I think if you look at companies that are kind of burying their head in the sand about, the sustainability of bricks versus clicks, like you're saying, that the companies that are moving to e-commerce and those that aren't are going to end up in very different trajectories over the next 10 years. So I think it would be worth considering that, and the people that want to, kind of succeed and thrive in this new environment and be connected to the world of global commerce will adopt early. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, I have Wendell and Julie. After that, I think I'll have to have an organizer ask the final question. So if you have follow-ups from there, please feel free to reach out directly to Anders. But Wendell, did you want to make your comment?
Yeah, I just did a quick comment about SCORE as an organization, a year ago, we had our National Leadership Conference in Reno, Nevada. This year, it was scheduled for Jacksonville, Florida. And obviously, it was a virtual experience, and today is our final day. But one thing I took out of that, after the organization obviously had a seismic shift in how they operated in March, and they went from one day doing much of our work, mentoring and so forth, in person, and also live workshops. And next day, everything was online. And so that was a shift that all of us as volunteers had to make. And they reported at the virtual leadership conference yesterday that we've had a 61% increase in services delivered to our clients just since February. So we've adapted well, and I think it probably goes to show just what's happening with this whole virtual experience. But we're able to come out of that on the high side, and it kind of goes to show what's happening, and we'll obviously never go back to the way it was completely, but I think we've learned a lot of things, how to operate a lot more efficiently without relying on face-to-face mentoring and that sort of thing. So, and we'll be doing a lot more webinars instead of workshops.
And then Julie had some feedback.
Yeah, I just wanted to maybe give my feedback on your other question. How can I best leverage my resources to provide the most value to the community that preserves my talent and dignity, which made me giggle a little bit because I've been where you are. You are, and I think I gave the same feedback to functional chiropractic. You have a lot of specialties. And I think we have a handful of full service agencies in the area. And what I have personally found is the more things you're trying to do, the less effective you are in most of them. I would personally pick one that you like the most and that you get the most return on investment for. You make the most money at. And I guess I would just really niche down. It sounds like you've really niched in terms of who your target market is, which is amazing because most people don't have that, even marketing agencies, which is kind of funny to me, but I struggle with that. So it's awesome that you have such a niche in who you're targeting. I would do well to, I think it would be in your best interest to really niche to what you can focus on, knowing that some of those things will still connect, but really marketing those big pieces for you that you like, that you make the best money at, rather than trying to hit all the bases. Looking at your website, most of the web designers I know don't also do SEO. Most of the web designers I know don't also do social media. Those that do kind of tend to flip back and forth that I've seen. So really having, and you said it was just you, right?
Yep.
Right now? Yeah. Until you get to a point where you can start hiring, then if you like those things and you want to keep spreading out, I would say go for it. But at least at first, I think I would try to niche down on what you're specializing into. Right now, from experience, the network that I have, web designers are in dire need. Most of the web designers I know are at capacity. They can't take any more business. They're going crazy with that. So the fact that you have that niche on top of it is awesome. And by all means, do the other things if you like them and you can do them in unison. Like if you're talking SEO with like the keywords on the website and you like doing that content and stuff, that's awesome. I think just to preserve your time and energy to maybe initially focusing on a couple of them instead of all the things, because I did the same, and it can be a lot and you get really spread thin, and whoops, there went my weekend and everything else. And, and oh, now I'm falling behind and it gets hard. So that would be my feedback there. And as an organizer, I guess I can ask the last question if you like, Ryan.
Yes.
What can we as a community do for you?
Yeah, thank you, Julie. First, I did want to say thank you to Wendell and appreciate SCORE and all the work they do, and thank you for, that feedback is really helpful. That I think it is time to triple down on, a very narrow, niche, and I think that's great advice. As far as is what the community can do, just supporting each other, shopping from small businesses when you can, finding ways to follow, comment, be active on blogs and guesting on podcasts, and staying connected with these networking events, having a cup of coffee, finding a way to do a 5-minute drop in and chat. It is a little more convenient, but we're still missing that connection of face-to-face events. So to help each other get through that, while we wait to come back, do what we can. And I know everyone here is already doing that, so I'm kind of preaching to the choir. But thanks so much.